Your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. The person you are, the results you see, and the future you are building are not the product of a single grand decision. Instead, they are the accumulation of countless tiny choices you make every single day. Think of your habits as the architectural blueprints for your existence. Strong positive habits are the sturdy foundations and well-placed support beams that create a life of strength, purpose, and achievement. They work for you, almost on autopilot, carrying you towards your goals with quiet, consistent momentum. They are the systems that ensure success becomes the path of least resistance. On the other hand, weak habits are the cracks in the foundation, the slow leaks that drain your energy and potential over time. They are the subtle compromises and easy choices that pull you away from who you want to become. A single weak habit, like endlessly scrolling on your phone or hitting the snooze button, might seem insignificant in the moment. Yet, when repeated day after day, these actions compound. They erode your willpower, diminish your focus, and silently sabotage your long-term aspirations. They are the invisible forces that keep you stuck, wondering why you never seem to make the progress you desire. The distinction between a successful life and a frustrating one often comes down to the quality of these underlying systems. It is not about raw talent, luck, or even grand bursts of motivation. It is about the unsung discipline of your daily routines. The person who consistently goes to the gym, even when they do not feel like it, builds physical strength. The person who reads 10 pages a day builds a mountain of knowledge over a year. Their success appears sudden to the outside world, but it is the predictable outcome of their daily practices. Your habits are either working for you or against you. There is no neutral ground. Therefore, the most critical question you can ask yourself is this: are my daily actions building the life I want, or are they slowly dismantling it? Your habits are the vote you cast for the type of person you wish to become. Every time you choose the difficult but necessary task over the easy distraction, you cast a vote for a more disciplined version of yourself. Every time you give in to a weak impulse, you cast a vote for your former self. The goal is not to be perfect overnight, but to win the majority of these daily elections and let the power of compounding carry you forward. Meaningful growth is never the result of a single dramatic transformation. We often fall into the trap of believing that to change our lives, we need to make a monumental leap. We wait for a surge of motivation to overhaul everything at once, only to find ourselves exhausted and back where we started a week later. This approach is flawed because it ignores the fundamental law of behavior change. Real, lasting change comes from small, intentional, and consistent daily actions. It is about laying one brick perfectly every single day, rather than trying to build an entire wall in an afternoon. These tiny actions are the atoms of a new identity. Think about the power of 1%. The idea of getting 1% better each day might sound trivial, but the cumulative effect is astonishing. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you will end up 37 times better by the time you are done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day, you will decline nearly down to zero. This is the mathematics of compounding habits. A small, easy action, like putting on your running shoes or writing a single sentence, is sustainable. It is a commitment you can keep even on your worst days, and it is this consistency that builds unstoppable momentum over time. The secret is to make your desired habits so small that they are impossible to say no to. Want to start reading more? Do not commit to a book a week. Commit to reading 1 page a day. Want to start exercising? Do not promise yourself an hour at the gym. Promise to do 5 push-ups. This approach, often called the 2-minute rule, bypasses the mental resistance that often kills our ambitions before they even begin. Once you have started, it is much easier to continue. The act of showing up is the most crucial step, and making it ridiculously easy ensures you will build the habit of showing up. This journey of 1,000 miles truly does begin with a single step. Forget about the finish line for now, and focus entirely on taking that first, simple step. Your goal is not to achieve a massive outcome immediately, but to become the type of person who consistently performs the small actions that lead to that outcome. The identity you are building is more important than the goal you are chasing. By focusing on the daily practice, you are not just hoping for change, you are actively becoming the change. Each small action is a piece of evidence that proves your new identity to yourself. You cannot change a habit if you are not aware of it. The first step on any path to improvement is to hold up a mirror to your current behaviors without judgment. Many of our weakest habits operate on autopilot. They are so ingrained in our daily routines that we no longer notice we are doing them. We reach for our phone, complain about a problem, or eat junk food without a moment of conscious thought. This is why self-awareness is the starting line for all progress. You must bring your unconscious patterns into the light of conscious awareness before you can begin to reshape them into something better. A simple and powerful way to build this awareness is to create a habits scorecard. Take a piece of paper and list your daily habits from the moment you wake up until you go to bed. Write down everything: waking up, checking your phone, brushing your teeth, what you eat for breakfast, your commute. Next to each habit, mark it as positive, negative, or neutral, based on whether it helps you become the person you want to be. This simple exercise forces you to see your day as it truly is, not as you imagine it to be. The results can be shocking, revealing just how many of your actions are working against your goals. Once you have this clear picture, you can begin to ask a powerful question before each action. Does this behavior make me stronger or weaker? This simple internal query acts as a filter for your decisions. It forces a pause between the impulse and the action, giving you a precious moment to choose your response deliberately. Does eating this donut make me physically stronger or weaker? Does scrolling through social media for another 20 minutes make me mentally stronger or weaker? By framing your choices in this way, you shift your perspective from seeking short-term pleasure to building long-term strength. This process is not about shaming yourself for your weaknesses. It is about gathering data. You are a scientist studying your own behavior to find opportunities for optimization. The goal is to replace mindless repetition with mindful choice. When you become aware of a negative habit, you gain power over it. It is no longer an invisible string pulling you along. It is a conscious choice you can now make differently. Self-awareness turns you from a passenger in your own life into the driver, with your hands firmly on the steering wheel, ready to choose your direction. Your comfort zone is a pleasant place, but nothing ever grows there. All meaningful progress in life, whether it is building a business, getting in shape, or learning a new skill, requires you to step into the realm of discomfort. The human brain is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain, a survival mechanism that served our ancestors well. In the modern world, however, this instinct often holds us back. The easy choice is almost always the enemy of your long-term goals. True discipline is forged in the moments when you choose to do the hard thing anyway, especially when you do not feel like it. Embracing discomfort is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. You can start small. Deliberately choose to do something slightly uncomfortable each day. Take a cold shower for 30 seconds at the end of your warm one. Do the most difficult task on your to-do list first thing in the morning, a practice known as eating the frog. Choose the stairs instead of the lift. These small acts of voluntary hardship build your mental toughness. They teach your brain that you can handle discomfort, that it is not something to be feared, but something to be overcome. You are proving to yourself that you are in charge, not your fleeting feelings. It is crucial to understand that short-term pleasure often leads to long-term pain, while short-term discomfort often leads to long-term satisfaction. The pleasure of hitting the snooze button is immediately replaced by the pain of rushing and starting your day in a reactive state. The discomfort of a morning workout is immediately followed by the satisfaction of having accomplished something important. When you learn to associate discomfort with growth, your entire mindset shifts. You stop running from challenges and start seeking them out, knowing they are the gateway to becoming a stronger version of yourself. Failure is an inevitable part of this process, and it is nothing more than feedback. When you try something difficult and fail, you have not lost, you have learned. You have discovered one way that does not work, which brings you one step closer to finding the way that does. Persistence in the face of this feedback is what rewires your brain. It demonstrates that you are not defined by a single outcome, but by your commitment to the process. Every time you get back up, you are building resilience. You are teaching yourself that discomfort is temporary, but the strength you gain from it is permanent. Your willpower is a finite resource. Relying on it to constantly fight temptation is, honestly, a losing battle. A far more effective strategy is to design an environment where your desired behaviors are the easiest and most obvious choice, and your undesired behaviors are, well, difficult or even impossible. Your environment, your home, your office, your digital spaces, is really the invisible hand that shapes your actions. If you want to make better choices, do not just try to have more discipline. Create a more disciplined environment. Make good habits the path of least resistance. Start by optimizing your physical space for focus and action. For example, if you want to exercise in the morning, lay out your gym clothes the night before. If you want to read more, place a book on your pillow. If you want to eat healthier, put fruits and vegetables at eye level in your fridge and, hide the junk food in an inconvenient place. Conversely, increase the friction for your bad habits. If you watch too much television, unplug it after each use and put the remote in another room. The goal is to make the cues for your good habits obvious and the cues for your bad habits invisible. This principle applies just as powerfully to your digital environment. Your smartphone is, honestly, one of the greatest distraction devices ever invented. To reclaim your focus, you must be ruthless in eliminating its temptations. Turn off all non-essential notifications, delete social media apps that drain your time and energy. Set up your home screen with only essential productive tools. Unsubscribe from email newsletters that clutter your inbox with useless information. You are designing a digital sanctuary where deep work and mindful consumption can flourish, free from the constant pull of digital noise. Protecting the first hour of your day is a critical part of this environmental design. The morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Instead of immediately reacting to the world by checking emails or news, create a morning routine that allows you to be proactive. Plan your day the night before so you wake up with a clear intention. Your first hour should be yours alone, dedicated to activities that strengthen your mind and body, like meditation, journaling, or exercise. By winning the morning, you create a powerful momentum that carries you through the rest of the day, making it far easier to stay on track. Discipline isn't just about mental toughness, it's also about physical and emotional energy. You can have the best intentions in the world, but if you're constantly tired and emotionally drained, you're going to struggle to make good decisions. Your ability to resist temptation and stick to your goals is directly linked to your energy levels. So, think of your energy as the fuel for your willpower engine. When the tank is full, doing the right thing is just so much easier, but when it's empty, you're way more likely to fall back into those old, weak habits. Managing your energy really starts with the basics: sleep, nutrition, and movement. Prioritizing 8 hours of quality sleep isn't just a luxury. It's a biological necessity for your mind, your emotions, and your body to recover. It's the foundation that your discipline is built on. And the food you eat, that's the fuel you give your brain and body. Eating whole, nutritious foods gives you steady energy, while processed sugars and junk food just lead to crashes and brain fog. And honestly, regular physical activity is one of the most powerful ways to boost both your mood and your energy levels. Now, beyond the physical stuff, managing your emotional state is just as crucial. Your emotions have a huge impact on your actions. When you're stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, your brain's decision-making center just doesn't work as well. That's why we often make our worst choices when we're feeling low. Practices like journaling and mindfulness can really help here. Journaling lets you untangle your thoughts and process your emotions, while mindfulness teaches you to notice your feelings without letting them control you. This creates space for clearer, more intentional thinking. To keep your energy high, you've also got to be ruthless about cutting out what drains you. That's not just bad habits like poor nutrition, but also draining relationships, pointless arguments, and negative information diets. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with certain people or consuming certain content. If something always leaves you feeling depleted or agitated, you need to minimize your exposure to it. Seriously, your energy is your most valuable asset for building a better life. Protect it fiercely. Invest in things that recharge you, and you'll find your capacity for discipline just grows like crazy. Your actions are often a reflection of your deepest beliefs about yourself. If you believe you're not a morning person or bad with money, you'll unconsciously act in ways that prove that identity true. This internal narrative, your self-talk, is honestly one of the most powerful forces shaping your behavior. To build lasting discipline, you have to go beyond just changing what you do. You've got to upgrade the beliefs that drive your actions. Stop identifying with your weaknesses and start building an identity that matches your strengths. The first step is just becoming aware of your negative self-talk. Listen to the stories you tell yourself all day long. When you make a mistake, do you say, "I'm so stupid," or do you say, "That was a mistake, what can I learn from it?" When you face a challenge, do you think, "I can't do this," or "This is difficult, but I can figure it out"? These small shifts in language aren't just semantics, they actually change how you see yourself and what you're capable of. Replace the self-talk of a victim with the self-talk of a creator. You're not defined by your past habits, you're defined by your present choices. Once you spot a limiting belief, you have to actively swap it for an empowering one. This isn't about empty affirmations, it's about choosing a new identity and then proving it to yourself with small wins. If you want to become a disciplined person, start telling yourself, I'm the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. Then go do a workout, even if it's just a short one. Every time you act in line with your new belief, you're casting a vote for that identity. You're literally rewriting your brain's programming with evidence. Your actions are the proof that make your new belief real. This process also means being mindful of the information you take in. The books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the people you follow. All of that shapes your belief system. If you fill your mind with celebrity gossip, complaining, and fear-mongering news, your inner dialogue will reflect that negativity. Instead, choose to consume wisdom. Read books that challenge you. Listen to people who inspire you. Your mind is a garden. If you don't plant flowers on purpose, weeds will grow automatically. Curate your information diet to nourish the beliefs you want to grow. What gets measured gets managed. You just can't improve what you don't track. The simple act of tracking your progress is a powerful motivator because it makes your efforts visible. When you're working on a new habit, it can feel like you're not making any progress at all, but having a visual record of your consistency can totally change that feeling. Use a calendar or a habit tracking app and mark every day you complete your action. Your goal is simple: don't break the chain. This visual cue gives you a little push to keep going, even on those days when you're just not feeling it. Celebrating small wins is a huge part of this process. The journey to building discipline is long, and if you only celebrate when you reach the finish line, you'll probably burn out. Tracking lets you see and appreciate your daily victories. Did you stick to your morning routine? That's a win. Did you choose a healthy meal over junk food? That's a win too. These small celebrations actually release dopamine in your brain, creating a positive feedback loop that makes the habit more enjoyable and more likely to stick. It makes building discipline feel rewarding instead of just a grind. Beyond tracking, keeping your promises, especially to yourself, is the foundation of self-trust. Every time you say you'll do something and you follow through, you're strengthening your personal integrity. You're teaching yourself that your word means something. This starts with small commitments. If you promise yourself you'll wake up at 6 a.m., do it. If you promise to go for a walk after dinner, do it. This self-trust is the bedrock of discipline, but every time you break a promise to yourself, you chip away at that trust, making it harder to believe you can achieve your future goals. To take it up a notch, add in some external accountability. Share your goals with one or two people you trust and respect: a friend, a family member, or a mentor. Just telling someone else what you plan to do makes it way more likely you'll actually do it. We're social creatures, and we want to be seen as consistent and reliable. Find someone who's disciplined and motivated, and ask them to check in on your progress. This creates a positive social pressure that helps keep you on track, especially when your own motivation drops. Building discipline and eliminating weak habits isn't a project with a finish line. It's not something you achieve once and then move on from. It's a lifelong practice, a continuous process of refining and growing. There will be days when you fall short, times when old habits creep back in, and moments when your motivation just isn't there. But this isn't a sign of failure, it's a sign that you're human. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. The real test of your strength isn't whether you never fall, but how quickly you get back up and keep moving forward. This journey asks you to make a fundamental trade-off. You have to be willing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term growth. The easy, comfortable choice is almost always the one that keeps you stuck. The path to a stronger, more capable version of yourself is paved with voluntary discomfort and deliberate effort. You need to face your weaknesses honestly, not to shame yourself, but to spot where you have the most room to improve. Every challenge you overcome is a step toward a future you've earned through your own hard work. The process is slow, often so slow you barely notice it. You won't see dramatic results overnight or even in a week. That's why so many people give up. They plant the seed and then get frustrated when a tree doesn't appear the next day. You have to learn to love the process. The daily routine, the small wins, the simple act of showing up. Trust that your small, consistent efforts are building a foundation beneath the surface, one that will eventually support amazing achievements. The greatest rewards in life go to those who have the patience to see things through. In the end, this is about way more than just productivity or hitting goals. It's about building a life of purpose and integrity. It's about becoming someone you're proud of. Someone who keeps their promises, faces challenges head-on, and lives by their values. It's a quiet revolution, fought not on some grand battlefield, but in the small choices you make every single day. Embrace the journey. Trust the slow, steady process of becoming. The person you're building is worth every single step of the long road home.